From an undisclosed location in North America, you are watching Card to Card. And this episode is one that I think is one of the most interesting ones we've done. This is about Polybius. And you're probably wondering, what in the world is Polybius? So this is the card Polybius. This is from the UFO First Edition, artwork by Sebastian Botello. As you can see, we have a video game here in an arcade. Really cool looking arcade, very reminiscent of back in the day. Why is there a card in the UFO set called Polybius? And it's called an artifact game. So, again, this might be the most intriguing and interesting chapter of the story of the card to card episodes that we've had so far. It's definitely going to be the longest episode. This card is based on the legend of the video game Polybius, and it's actually considered an urban legend. So that means that a lot of people think that it's probably not a true story, but I'll let you decide. We'll look at the evidence. So when I was growing up, the arcade was like basically heaven on earth for all the kids my age, and a little bit older and a little bit younger. The year was 1981, and you would go to the arcade, and sometimes they'd have a new video game there. They were all in these cabinets like this, like you see in this picture. There'd be, I don't even know if they have arcades anymore, but an arcade was basically a store, a shop, like at a mall or something, and it was usually dark inside, and they had all the cabinets there with all the different video games. And they're usually 25 cents each to play, or maybe even some of them more. They'd have pinball machines in there too, but when video games came out, that's when arcades just blew up. And that was like my favorite time growing up. That was like one of the favorite things to do, is to go to the arcade. Me and my brother, we loved it. So, this was before there were Sony PlayStations. There were some home video game systems. There was no Xbox, no Super Nintendo, no Nintendo 64. You had to have like a rich friend that could afford a home video game system, like Atari, or I think there was Intellivision or something like that. Or you saved your quarters and went to these arcades to play video games. Now, or just even watch people play video games was fun. I didn't even have quarters, so me and my brother, we had to get good grades, which was pretty awesome. The local arcade would give you tokens to play video games. Like, if you got a bunch of A's, you got a whole bunch of tokens. If you got B's, you got a few, you still got some, but not as many as if you got A's. So they've rewarded kids for getting good grades. And that was like our favorite trip of the year. So in Portland, Oregon, and some of these surrounding suburbs of Portland, a new game, this is 1981, a new game started showing up called Polybius. And it was showing up at the local arcades. And the legend is that this game was so popular that it was leading to like a psychological addiction point of these players. They just couldn't quit playing it. And they were loving it. I mean, I don't know if they were loving it, but they were addicted to playing it. And there'd be long lines formed to play Polybius, and people would like even get in fights trying to fight over who's the next turn, who was up next to play. We actually have an actual photo of the start screen. Now, I don't know how I got this, but maybe, I'm sure some of the people that played it remembered it quite well. But here's what the start screen looked like. There of Polybius. There's the game company name and credits. And this is a recreation cabinet of the Polybius game. All right, so now we kind of get an idea, and then we have the artwork of this Metazu card. So these arcade games, the machines, they were reportedly they were visited by actual men in black who would collect unknown data from the machines. This is what the story says. And then this data, or the data they're collecting, are like from them testing the players' responses to psychoactive effects programmed into the game. And also the players claim that they would get side effects of playing this, like seizures, amnesia, insomnia, night terrors, and hallucinations. So scary stuff here. And then, like a month later, all the Polybius games were removed from these arcades that were around Portland. And from eyewitness accounts, the game maker, like we saw on that screen, it's kind of hard to see, but the game maker was German. It's called Sinnesschlafen, which in German translates to sensory deprivation. And also interesting, the name Polybius was a Greek historian who was born in a place called Arcadia. So really interesting tie-ins to arcades, this game Polybius. So we actually, before we start trying to figure out what really happened here, we actually have some gameplay of Polybius. And this is like from you putting your quarter into the machine to the end of the game. And so this is a long video. This is a very long episode, but it was a very interesting episode to me. And I wanted to show you guys this game, Polybius. And it's like 8 minutes, so if you don't want to watch the whole thing, you don't have to. Just skip through it. Also, for sure, if you have susceptibility to seizures, do not watch this video. This game has been known to cause problems for people, so viewer discretion is so greatly advised. Let's go ahead and roll it. Okay, guys, this is Sandyfrank. This is the actual game that we're talking about here, Polybius. So, I want to make very clear that you need to use viewer discretion, because we know this game has some weird things about it. So we're gonna go ahead and I found some actual gameplay of this game, and we're gonna go ahead and play this. This is a long video, so this episode is probably gonna be the longest ever episode of Card to Card. But I wanted you guys to see what this game's all about. So let's go ahead and roll it. Probably back up a little bit so you can see more of the screen here. It kind of just looks like a shooter. You know, definitely in that early 80s style of video game. It's got really cool audio to it, though. Now, I'm not actually playing this. This is a actual recording of the Polybius game. So we're experiencing this together here, guys. Here on Card to Card. Okay. Alright, that's a little more intense with these rings coming out at you. Guys, if you start feeling weird watching this, just turn it off. But I wanted, since we're doing this episode, I wanted to show you the game. Remember, this game is allegedly can cause seizure, like I know epileptic seizures can be caused by strobing lights like that, so be careful, guys. But allegedly, I mean, this game, I'll talk more about it after the video, but some people say it was put out by Men in Black. They would monitor the effects on people. I personally think that this video game was put out by the government to study the effects of video. Now we're talking some crazy effects here that are very transient or can cause you to go into a trance, I would think. Wow. That's nuts. But, yeah, I think it was probably put out by the government. They were trying to understand why are these kids so into video games? And they were trying to, kind of test what kind of video game, what kind of effects can they have on our youth. And so I totally believe this is a real story. Now, I don't think it was monitored by Men in Black, that stuff, but I think it definitely was a thing. I mean, how would people make up something like this, you know? And yeah, I can't imagine someone that has a susceptibility to flashing lights not being affected by this. Wow. Crazy. I don't know how much longer I have this go on, but I kind of wanted to see the next level of it, of what happens when you play this. Yeah, as a video game, I don't think I could play it very long. It'll drive me insane. Oh, wow. How do you even know where you're shooting? Yeah, crazy stuff. I love doing these videos, guys, because you learn all kinds of crazy... Yeah, you can still see the ship flying around, but how would you even play this? This is nuts. Pretty advanced graphics for early 80s, too, I think. Guys, in the comments, put down, is Polybius, is this a real thing? Is it an urban legend? There just seems to be too much evidence out there that there was something like this to be an urban legend. And urban legends are usually, you hear these in every city. These stories originate from one place, Portland, Oregon. So I think this is the next level here. Jeez. Are you kidding me? Okay. Yeah. There's no way I could play this game. There's no way. I might try it once, but I like video games to be fun. You know what I mean? And this does not seem like it would be fun. So, just so you know, I will not be taking any data from people watching this episode of Card to Card. I mean, it is what it is. It's a fascinating story that is very interesting to me. Because I was raised up. Oh, here we go. Entering in the initials. whenever you got a high score, you always get to put these in there. Anyway, that's it. There's the high score. Looks like Mike dominating this thing. Okay, we'll go back. Okay, now my thoughts are, when I watch this, is how did they get this? If this was just a supposed, like urban legend game, very obviously there was some sort of game, and what was the whole deal about it? I don't think the first theory that the machines are visited by men in black and data being collected, I don't think that was true. I think the machines are being visited by the government, and they were getting data on the effects video games would have on young people, because video games were so popular. These arcades were so popular, it was obsessive for some kids playing video games, and you see that even today with your PS5s or whatever. Kids love video games, and when they first came out, man, the arcade, like I said, it was heaven on earth. And I'm sure the government was very interested in trying to figure out what in the world is a psychological connection of young people to video games. And I have zero doubt that these are real. I think they were real. I think the government was seeing, is there a danger here? And I think they collected data from these. And this was like a little test area, this Portland area. So, what do you guys think? Was this real? Was it an urban legend? If it was an urban legend, how do we have, most urban legends are like, oh, every city has a little similar story. No, this is pretty widely recognized to have taken place in Portland, Oregon in 1981. I mean, it's too specific. And there were definitely people around at arcades back then that probably remembered these. So, guys, if you were from Portland, Oregon, please put down in the comments. Did you guys play this? Were there fights breaking out of people wanting to play the game? Also, if you look at this art, look really close at this art. Does that not look like the video game of some of the graphics in the game with all these little these shapes? That was really standing out to me after watching that video. But really cool. Man, these Mezzu game cards, Mezzu might be crashing and burning as we speak, but man, I love these cards and the stories behind each of these cards. And they're so fun to dig into and find out. Like, I never knew anything about this, and this is a real thing. Great artwork there by Sebastian Botel, and if he got this from the actual game, these shapes, man, kudos. How great. I love this card so much now. And the flavor text down there says, originally set up by Men in Black, this arcade game sends players subliminal messages and induces seizures, insomnia caused by the game, often leads to hallucinations and migraines. Yeah, exactly what we were learning about there. It doesn't have like a date and time and everything because it's not a beastie, but man, what a cool inclusion to the UFO set. And I give all the credit to Mezzu. Man, they get all kinds of hate and everything, but man, they had some cool cards in these sets. Anyway, so next time you're at an arcade and you might see a long line of kids or maybe even young adults or old guys, I don't know. You see a long line of people and maybe a fight breaking out. Yeah, you need to keep your eye out.